What's going on YouTube? This is your boy Tatted Collector. I'm here with my man Renebean, and we're going to talk about conventions today. We're going to talk about the good things and the sucky side of things. So you ready?
Let's go! Alright guys, so you heard Tatted. He ain't never been to a convention. I haven't been to that many either, but this one was definitely unique. I'm going to talk to Tatted here. I want to ask his opinion on some of the good things, some of the bad things, things that he wished he could have saw, and things that he was really happy he saw, and just kind of get his idea on it. You're going to hear basically a little bit of a sucky side episode mixed in with this, minus the full exact experience. So it's going to be funny. You're going to hear about some good things. If you guys out there have been to conventions, tell us what you think about it down below. So, Tatted, what was the first thing you thought of when you pulled up to this convention?
That it was going to be in a very much nicer atmosphere.
This was a good convention. Keep in mind. It was. I will say the biggest problem with this convention that I seen it right away is they had so much stuff, so many vendors, so many people. The problem with that is the venue was not that big. Had they had a bigger spot, a bigger building, it would have been perfect. People were in there but the gut, and that makes it a pain, especially for a big guy like me. I'm sure it's easier for Tatted, but that was the biggest problem that I saw. But there was so many awesome people there. We got to meet a lot of you fans out there. It was very awesome. Got some pictures taken, handshakes, all that. It was pretty damn cool.
Met some really cool people. Wow.
There was some really cool people. I was actually surprised some of the people that came out, and for that, thank you for that. We were very grateful for all of you out there. But for this convention specifically, I will say to the organizers of it, next year, if you can, it's impossible to put that many people in such a small area. Now, the last convention that I went to, I will say that the size of it was probably 2 or 3 times bigger, and they didn't have that many people, and it was still kind of packed. So in the future, if you can, I'm sure it's hard to plan a year ahead and set up a convention, but that was the hardest thing to deal with in that convention. There was definitely some sucky side aspects because of that. And one of the biggest things, now my wife pointed this out to me, and she can be a little verbal sometimes. I always gotta tell her, like, honey, you're gonna get my ass kicked if you're careful. And she would be like, what the hell is that smell? And now, keep in mind, all of us out there, we're game hunters, we're collectors, and we have a certain atmosphere. And some of us, man, I don't know how to put this politely. For me, I bathe. But man, I'll tell you what, the sucky side of the convention, the hardest part to deal with, is you walk into some of these individuals, and you got to keep in mind, you're right next to these people, and you're barely scooting along, and you catch a smell, and me and my wife are talking about this. Like, I don't know how one acquires a smell like this. It's I've been known not to take a shower for 1 or 2 days, if I got things lined up. But I still don't think, like, I think it takes literally a week or 2 to have a smell like this. And that is the hardest thing to deal with. So if you're going to a convention, man, hose yourself down. I mean, go outside, reel out the damn garden hose, and just shoot that shit straight up into the air and just lay back like Shawshank Redemption and let the grace flow upon you. Because you got to keep in mind, that's hard for other people to deal with. And that was one of the hardest things for me to cope with. I've been up since 4:30 this morning. I got to that convention about 10 a.m., that's something I don't want to be greeted to when I go in there. And that's one of the hardest things to deal with. And it's really hard for me to deal with those claustrophobic situations like that. And that's one of the biggest problems with it. Did you experience any smells?
I did. and here's the thing, like,
don't think that we're just bitching. Like, we have truth to this. And some of the people that we met, none of them had a smell. They were nice people, and they were very clean. The ones that we're talking about, I mean, these were some ruffians, some scruffins, man.
And I met some people that, I mean, it smelled like their breath came straight out of the Great Depression. And, I mean, it was wretched. a month.
It's always people with the bad breath that feel that they got to get closer to you.
Right here.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, how's it going?
It's almost as if they're proud of that breath. They know about it, but they want you to know about it. Not only do you need
they
to
want
smell
you to experience.
You need to taste it.
Yes. Yes, I felt like I could taste it with my rectum. I mean, it was that bad.
Yeah. Now, see, that's the sucky side of the convention. There is so much good with the convention. There is so much amazing things. I see games that I'll never see again in my life. There was a copy of Stadium events there.
Stadium events.
What was some other wild games they had there?
They had
the Star Fox, the championship cart.
Yeah.
Was it championship? I can't remember.
Rule of Rose.
$2,000.
Kuon. Saga, Panzer Dragoon Saga.
They did have Panzer Dragoon Saga, and so actually, for some of them are pretty decently priced too. There was one guy had 2 copies of Zombie Nation, complete in box, and I want that game so bad.
I saw so much complete in box stuff. I mean, I was going from booth to booth, and I would see boxes that I so desperately needed. And I'm like, hey, is it just the box? And they're like, no, it's complete in box. So I'm like, well, I'm out because I know you want like $300 or $400 for it. I just don't have that kind of money to throw down.
Well, see, at conventions, I look at it kind of like a museum, because unless you studied on it, you're like, man, today is the day I'm going to buy a complete in box Zombie Nation. You're just going there to look at this stuff, and a lot of people know that. Like, that stuff will sit. I did see some pretty heavy items being sold, mainly things like Mega Man X3 or things, but anything in the $500 up range,
no. Unless
there's like deals behind the event, you're not going to see that stuff move a lot. But it is very nice to see. That's the first time I saw Stadium events.
Me too. And it was definitely nice decor.
Didn't you see that label was ripped on it? I didn't get a good look at it, but
the copy of Stadium Events that was there,
I might get some footage of it tomorrow.
The little head on it, and I got some footage of it.
Did you? Okay.
The guy's head on it was scratched. The label was actually missing on it. But I mean, still, you're talking about a $10,000 plus game. So what does that knock off? Maybe $200.
I mean, we'll see a game like that. It's just based on what people are wanting to pay for it. It's not like you're going to have 3 copies up at one time so people can choose. You're only going to see one surface every so often. So that's going to be the biggest determining factor of what someone could pay. You could actually see a better conditioned copy of that game sell for less than that copy, just because when this one was out, you actually got a buyer who's willing to pay for it, and then you have all these other buyers, and it just makes the price go up. It's very nice to see that sort of thing.
Now, what I also experienced good-wise was that there was so much versatility there. Not only did you have video games, but you had other things video game related. There was one booth where these people were etching glass. So you could, they had Majora's Mask beer mugs.
Well, see, that's another bad thing about it, since it's so butt the gut in there, you miss a lot of the stuff. I made probably 10 or 12 laps up and down the aisles. There's still probably stuff I didn't see. And that's when it's so compact. You got those people who, for whatever reason, they just want to stand and look at the games. They're not even buying them. They're not even digging through the boxes. They're just looking at them. And you want to dig in those boxes. We all like digging in boxes.
Sure do. Box-a-doo.
And damn, when you're just sitting here and you're looking at these people and they have this look on their face, they probably didn't even realize they were at the damn convention. And they're just sitting there looking at this box, and you're over here sitting there looking at them look at this box while you could be looking in that same box. That's one of the biggest problems too. And there should be like a rule, like, man, 30 seconds, you ain't digging, move on. And
yeah,
that's the hardest thing right there.
Another big issue is that because there were so many people, the aisles were very narrow, and nobody knew how to make a hole. No, they were all in the middle of the aisle, standing there having conversations, right, and you're just wanting to walk through them. And basically, it came down to like, am I going to have to push you just to get you out of my way? Move.
All right, I'm going to give you guys a tip out there. And I have nothing against kids. I don't believe in my life I'm ever going to have kids. I really do prefer having my game room. Not saying that you can't have both, but, I wouldn't want one of my kids coming there and going crazy. But if you got kids below the age of, I'd say, 10, I don't know if a convention is the best place for them. Especially, let's give a good example, which I saw today. It may be a little exaggerated, but this is what I seen. I see this lady come in, and I don't even know where you get these strollers. How does one acquire one of these? It's like a 4 baby seat stroller, and she's got this thing. It literally looks like a street scraper.
It's literally almost the size of this table.
And you got 2 kids, you got a dog, and you got a bag of McDonald's in one of them. And she thinks she's got full authority to go through these aisles, which barely anybody can fit through anyways, expecting people to move. That is not a good environment for your child right there.
No, and I mean, and if you're going to have all of your kids, where's your daddy? I mean, where's their daddy? Like two can go with mama and 2 can go with daddy.
And I understand, like, it may be hard, you know, you can't get out, you can't go on vacation, this may be the only time you got, but I would honestly, if you're going to consider a babysitter, man, because that makes it so hard on everybody else. And I can understand, you know, let's say, you know, 10 and it could be a little controversial because you want your kids to experience some of these games. They're not really going to be experiencing much. They can't see anything. They're walking around smelling asses anyways because everybody's so close together. I wouldn't want that for my child. And yeah, there's been many a times I probably knocked some kid in the noggin with my bag, hit him with some fine Atlas title because I can't see him. I mean, it's a bad situation. It's not the best thing for it.
Another good thing that I saw was that, you know, a lot of people have the mentality that when you go to a convention, you're going to be paying eBay prices. Now, granted, there are going to be booths that have their stuff priced accordingly, but there's going to be so many vendors there that are just wanting to get rid of their junk. Mm-hmm. To them, it's junk because they've got so much of it. Either they own a retail store or they've been collecting for so long that they've amassed so many doubles and they're just like, here, take it. Whatever you want to give me for it.
There's a few types of vendors when it comes to conventions. And I've experienced them all at this one. And you have the guys that are dead set eBay or above. I saw a complete inbox copy of Resident Evil for the Sega Saturn. One that I was hoping for. It was the only copy that I saw. They wanted $150 for it. Case was cracked. Disc was scratched. I'm not paying it. It's well above. Not something I'm interested in. Which was odd because I actually dealt with this guy at the last convention. He did really good prices. I didn't want to sit there and be like, man, this game dropped in price, or, you know, are you going to work with this? I left it alone. Then you got these other type of vendors, like Tatted said, that are there to get rid of stuff. I've encountered a couple of them that said, listen, man, if this stuff ain't selling in my store, I bring it here and it goes for cheap. I picked up NES boxes today for like $2 or $3 a piece. You can find the deals, you can haggle the deals, but do expect to pay a premium for probably some of the more higher end stuff that you're looking for, because it is hard to get that deal. It is still possible, but it is harder. And
I mean, like Renebean said, you're going to have those type of vendors that are just wanting to get rid of their stuff. And I actually walked up to a vendor that was talking to Renebean, and they were working out a deal amongst themselves. You picked up Super Mario RPG, right? Okay. And you see that in my video, but after he picked that up, Renebean knew the guy. He was like, hey man, I just hooked you up with a bunch of stuff. Can you cut my boy a good deal on a video game that they had marked for $80? He knocked $25 off that price. That's a phenomenal deal.
Off too if you go in there and man up on it.
Yeah. So I'm going tomorrow and I'm going to try to haggle down to at least $50.
Which is fair for this game. This game sells for about $70. And now, this is a game that Tatted wants in his collection. Now, you have to go into a convention with the mindset that this is not a yard sale. This is not a flea market.
Oh.
You are not going to come out there with Sunset Riders for $5.
No.
But if that's a game that you want for your collection, if that's a game you need for your collection, you most likely can come out cheaper than you can eBay. Probably not much, maybe 15-20%. Better depending on how good you are with the mouth. And be happy that way. But like I said, I came into this mindset with 3 or 4 games in mind. I've yet to find any of those games. I did pick up one that was more of an impulse buy. The trade worked out great. But I can't go in there expecting these prices. And you can't expect that from these vendors. A lot of these vendors actually own stores, and this is just a way for them to get their name out. Conventions demand a higher price for their games, just for the fact that you get to see it there. If I wanted a complete unboxed Zombie Nation, I could actually hold it, look at it.
Look at the condition.
And it's right there. I mean, absolutely.
And another tip that I recommend, and we both kind of regret it today.
Yeah,
is take your bits to be able to open up cartridges, and that way you can look at it right then and there, knowing if it's legit or not. Because there were a couple of copies of games that just looked too brand new.
And you got to give the vendors the benefit of the doubt. They could have had it, maybe they never opened it, always be suspicious of your games. Most of the time, they will open it for you. They hear that all the time. If I was going to buy a Zombie Nation or something like that, he'll probably open it before I even buy it. But sometimes, you know, if you're dealing with a $50 to $100 game of a popular game, and
I still want to open it.
I want to open it too, and you'll open it. I'd take it tomorrow and get that opened up. We're talking about a copy of Sunset Riders. It looks very minty, and I really hope it's the original thing. It does. It looks it. Excuse me. There's no flaws on it. It just looks too damn good, and that should be a #1 sign, honestly, when something's that many for the price that you got it at. Just be hesitant. And those security bit sets, people ask me all the time, where do you get those bit sets?
eBay.
You can go on eBay. You can drop $6 or $7. You can not only get the tri-wing, you can get both the security game bits, and you could probably get the handle to go with it. Make sure, now here's a tip though, if you do get those security bits, if you ever do want to get into like some crazy repairs, Virtual Boy stuff and whatnot, get the extended bits, because for a lot of those systems, I think GameCube, one of them as well, you need the extended bits to actually open them up.
That's why I've got that extended handle driver on mine. Just some really good things came out of this convention, and
I enjoyed it. We still got tomorrow left. I'm excited to go back. The next day, the last day of the convention, is usually the better day to go, because not only is there not going to be that many people, all the stuff that hasn't sold, you can usually get a better deal on it than you could the first day, which is nice. And one of my biggest goals tomorrow is I got my end labels for my N64 games, all the ones that I don't have. I just brought all the sheets. Hopefully I'm going to fill it up with a lot of cheap games. That's going to be my game plan.
Yeah, and
you did that today.
I did that today. I actually ended up with...
But you got some good titles, too.
I did. I ended up with about 4 or 5 $10 to $12 games. I ended up with 19 games altogether, to include a complete black label copy of Silent Hill. And I paid $58.
Yeah.
I mean, Silent Hill alone is going for $40 to $45.
That's a deal,
or more. And so for $58 for 19 games, that's 18 N64 titles that I did not have, that I can just throw straight into my collection. And that knocked off a good chunk as far as going towards a complete US set for the N64.
I say that's just the definition of an awesome vendor. Versus one, he could have went to another table, picked up that exact same lot, and it could have came up to well over $100.
Yeah.
And he picked up games that aren't the most sought after. Obviously, Silent Hill is, but a lot of games, he just didn't feel. The guy worked an excellent deal. He's a very awesome person. He hooked them up, and a lot of vendors are like that. Talk to him, be friendly, show him a kind face. You never know what kind of deal.
But the guy that actually hooked me up on that really fantastic deal with the Silent Hill was actually a subscriber of mine, and he told me and messaged me, "Hey man, look out for me."
Was that guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's like, "Cause I'm gonna look out for you."
That guy was awesome.
He was. He even hooked my buddy Billy up with some really good stuff, just because he knew Billy was with me.
But I heard that guy giving. I mean, he was giving deals out regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not about who you are. It's just, I'm telling you, kindness is the biggest thing. There are some vendors that they don't come off as friendly. I don't want to deal with them. They may be talking to someone else over something that could lose them a sale. Like it's weird. As a vendor, you got to keep in mind customers are priority, but they know they're overwhelmed. I mean, there's so many people.
There were so many people in there that I could see the steam starting to come out of some of their ears. Yeah. Just because they were under so much pressure. And
that's a hard thing to do. I've never sold at a convention. Some of you out there who have sold at a convention, how much of that shit gets stolen?
Exactly.
And because there was so many things, like I'm not the type of person that steals, but I was carrying my backpack or my shoulder strap Mario Galaxy bag. I could have just opened the lid and walked right beside one of these tables and just popped a few games in. And if you only got 1 or 2 people at one of these huge booths, and you got people over here that are potentially buying something, what about these people over here that could be doing what I'm saying? So I imagine that's a problem, and that's another reason that you need a bigger environment for a convention like that.
And that's another reason why, as a vendor, if you're going to sell at conventions, and you have some high-end stuff, you want to make sure that stuff's locked down in a case.
Which a lot of it was, but I did see a lot of high-end just out and about.
I saw, what was that, NBA or NCAA 2K3 on the GameCube, which sells for like $150 at least. And it was just laying there on the table.
He did have a case that he could have put in that case. Was a little empty. It had things like like River City Ransom in a box, and
there were a lot of cosplayers there, and I was very surprised to see the amount that were actually dressed up, having a good time. They also had video game tournaments going on, and I know you saw in my video, I was actually upstage where they were doing the tournament, they had Fortnite going on. There were probably at least 20 televisions.
They should have had PUBG now. I'm sure I'll get ringed out in the comments for that, but I'm a PUBG player.
Yeah. And I never really got into Fortnite or PUBG until Renebean's like, hey man, you can play with me on Xbox. I'm like, all right, cool. Here's $20 Xbox. And so I ended up purchasing.
You're gonna get some dislikes now because there's a lot of Fortnite fans out there, which there's no problem with that. It just ain't for me.
And you know what? If I'm gonna pick up Fortnite, I want to find it super cheap on physical media because they're going for crazy.
I was
gonna
say, well, you're in luck because it's a free game if you download it.
Yeah, but if you find the physical copy, they're selling for over $200 on eBay.
That's ridiculous. See, that's something that I couldn't collect that. There would be no need for it. You just have to be a serious fan. I looked at the hardcore collector. I looked at the latest sold listings. I think one sold for $240. It was over $200, and that sold, I believe, on the 16th on eBay. It was crazy. So if you can, every once in a while, if you're traveling and you're going from city to city, or if you're going to visit family or whatnot, hit up your Walmarts, hit up your Targets. If you can find a physical copy of Fortnite, it's going for money. Walmart or somewhere like that. We went to Walmart last night and looked, and we couldn't find any, but they had a lot of games. They had a lot of games just shoved down in the bottom where like nobody is even going to look. Mm-hmm. And so I had her open it up, and I was sitting there digging through, and there were a lot of games that she had to actually scan just to price them for me. So there's a lot of good things. I enjoyed this convention so much. I got to meet a whole lot of really cool people. It was really nice to meet some of these people. Like all the people that came up, said hello, wanted their picture taken. You guys are awesome, and there was nothing bad. That's the weird thing about it. Like when you hear us talking about some of the sucky side of it, they had nothing to do with it. I don't know where these people come from that are rough, but boy, they were rough, man. But the people that we got to meet, they were cool as hell. One person even pointed out to my wife. She's like, "Are you the infamous Miss Renebean?" And she said yes. So she was there. So any of you guys that saw me there, my wife was there. Everybody always wonders like, when's she going to come on camera? And trust me, I've been trying to get her on camera for a long time, but she's camera shy. So hopefully one day we'll get her on here. You can hear an interview with how she puts up with my ass. All right, folks. Well, that's it. If you've enjoyed the content, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet to Renebean's channel, go ahead and go to his channel. I'm going to leave a link down to it in the description below. But go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that bell icon. When you do, you're going to receive a notification every single time I upload new content and every single time Renebean uploads new content. All right, folks. I hope you've had a fantastic week. I'm Tatted Collector. I'm Renebean. I hope you've had a good one. As always, guys, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm just a teacher trying to make some extra money, and I heard this would get my foot into the door. Little did I know, there is no job. Do you have a boyfriend or anything? I'm married. Does your husband know you're here? He dropped me off. You thought I was here for a modeling job. There'd be a lot of room for cussing. Right. You're gonna be like, damn, how many times I gotta hit that bleep button? Listen, I will say shit and piss. I'll say fuck, ass. So, you ready? Let's go. You gotta be more entertaining. Come on, that was good until you said, let's go.